Welcome to Bedtime Sleep. Here, we slow everything down. Science becomes a lullaby, and wonder becomes rest. Each night, we drift through cosmic thoughts, explore gentle mysteries, and let your mind wander. Calmly, curiously, quietly. If this brought you peace, please subscribe and leave a comment with the science topic you'd love to dream about next. Now take a breath, and let's begin tonight's journey. You settle into stillness. Your breath, soft and slow, rises and falls like the tide. The weight of the day begins to drift away, and in its place comes the hush of evening thought. The room grows quiet, but within you, motion continues, quiet, rhythmic, unseen. A pulse beneath your skin, a breath between moments, a sense that something steady, is always moving forward. That is time. But what is it really? Not the ticking of a clock, not the pages of a calendar. Time is deeper. It's in your muscles, in your bones, in the slow turning of your thoughts. It weaves through every part of you like wind moving through tall grass. Inside you, there is a clock, not made of gears or hands, but of chemistry and memory. Your heart beats in regular waves. Your cells divide and repair, following a rhythm that began long before you were born. You live in patterns. You sleep, you wake. You eat, you grow, you heal. All of it timed. All of it tuned to something larger, something older. Scientists call it a biological clock, but that word, clock, feels too small. This is not a ticking machine. It's a living rhythm, humming beneath your skin. It adjusts with sunlight. It shifts with age. It holds you gently in the flow of time without you ever needing to think about it. You might think time is constant, that every second is the same. But the more we've come to understand the universe, the stranger time becomes. It isn't fixed like a road. It stretches, it slows, it curves. It depends on where you are and how fast you're going. In your stillness now, your body measures time as it always does. Your heart beats quietly. But if you were moving fast, very fast, faster than a jet, faster than sound, your body would begin to feel time differently. Your clock would tick more slowly than the one back home. Your cells would age just a little more gently. And even though you wouldn't feel the change, time itself would have been around you. This idea, as soft and strange as a dream, isn't fantasy. It's been measured, observed, confirmed. When astronauts travel through space at great speed, time slows down for them. Not metaphorically, literally. Their hearts still beat. Their minds still think. But their clocks fall slightly behind those on Earth. It's called time dilation. The faster you move, the slower time flows for you. It's not something you can sense, but it happens all the same. Speed stretches time like warm honey dripping from a spoon. And gravity, heavy, invisible gravity, bends it too. You, lying there in your bed, are wrapped in Earth's gravity. It pulls on you, holds you close. And because of this, your clock ticks just a little more slowly than one on a mountaintop. Only by the smallest measure, but still, the difference is there. It's as if every place in the universe keeps its own tempo. You begin to imagine it. People walking on a beach, waves touching their feet. The sun above them moving slowly through the sky. Yet high above, on a satellite, another clock ticks, slightly faster. Same universe, same moment. Two rhythms, gently out of sync. Time isn't one drumbeat, it's a soft symphony. Each part of the universe adds its own note. And you are both an instrument and a listener. You carry the rhythm in your chest. You hear the passing seconds like music. Even as you sleep, your body plays along. And yet, time doesn't just flow, it carries you. It marks the story of you. The laugh lines that form, the memories that fade, the growth of your hair, the warmth of your skin. Every second holds you, then lets you go. As you breathe now, slowly, deeply, you are not just falling asleep. You are sailing gently forward, through the currents of time, in the quiet gravity of your bed. And as the seconds pass, something deep inside remembers that time is not simple. It's not a straight line. It's a winding stream, bending around hills you cannot see. You may wonder, what happens if we go faster? If we move with the speed of planets or light itself? Would we age differently? Would the world around us blur and slow while we remain young? The questions begin to take shape, soft and glowing like fireflies. You reach for them in your thoughts, not to catch, but to follow. Because time, it seems, is not just something that happens. It's something that responds to speed, to gravity, to your place in the cosmos. And so, you close your eyes and feel the quiet ticking within. Not loud, not urgent, just steady, just yours. Time is flowing, but perhaps not the same everywhere. Not always, not for everyone. And if time can slow, what happens to light that always moves so fast? Does it see time at all? Does it pause, stretch, or vanish into stillness? These are questions best drifted into gently. And as you begin to fall deeper into the night, you feel the pull of the next chapter, soft as a thread of light, asking. Close your eyes. Let your thoughts soften and settle like dust on a windowsill. Somewhere in the distance, light moves, quietly, quickly, endlessly. It travels without feet, without wings, without effort. A gentle stream from the stars to your eyes. And though it never stops, you rarely feel its passing. Light is not just something you see. It is how you see. It carries the shape of the world to your mind. Colors, textures, memories of faces and skies. But beneath all of that beauty, light is something more. It is a messenger of time. You may not feel it, but light is always running. From the sun to the sea, from galaxies to blades of grass. It moves at a speed that never changes. No matter how fast you go, light moves past you just the same. Imagine yourself standing still, watching a flash of light move across a room. Now imagine yourself racing beside it. Fast, so fast your feet barely touch the floor. And yet, the light still moves ahead of you. Not slower, not faster, just always the same. This is where the dance begins. The universe has made a quiet rule. Nothing can outrun light. And because of this rule, something strange happens to time itself. When you move fast, truly fast, near the speed of light, your experience of time begins to change. It stretches, thins, softens. The world outside seems to rush, while your own moments slow. A second for you may hold many for those you left behind. To understand why, imagine light as a thread stretched tight. If you try to catch it by running alongside, you can't make it move differently. Instead, the universe adjusts something else, time. It bends the seconds so that the rule stays unbroken. The faster you go, the slower your inner clock must tick, just to keep the light ahead of you. This is time dilation, again, not a feeling, but a fact. A gentle reshaping of time to protect the constancy of light. Speed and light are locked in a quiet conversation, each whispering to the other, each gently shifting the rhythm of time. And so, when astronauts travel quickly, light still reaches them at the same speed. But their own time flows more gently. They age just a touch slower. Their heartbeats stretch slightly further apart. To the people waiting on Earth, more moments have passed. This may seem like magic, but it's not. It's the way the universe keeps its promise. That light will always move at the same pace, no matter who is watching. You begin to wonder, what does light know? Why is it allowed to move so freely, unbothered by time? Because something curious happens when you imagine traveling as light. Not beside it, but with it. At the speed of light, time would stand still. There would be no past, no future. Just one eternal now. Of course, you can't travel at that speed. No one can. But still, the thought glows gently in your mind. What must it be like to move so fast that time no longer flows? To exist in one endless moment? You lie back deeper into your bed. And perhaps now, the idea of speed doesn't feel like motion. It feels like quiet. like a soft stretching of everything you know, like letting go. In your stillness, your body keeps time in its familiar way, but your thoughts have begun to float beyond the edges of ordinary hours. You drift not in miles, but in meaning. You feel yourself becoming part of the rhythm between speed and stillness. And as light dances through space, as it reflects from stars, flows through glass, lands softly on your skin, it carries not just brightness, but the structure of reality. It tells space how to shape and time how to flow. The dance of light is not frantic. It is elegant. And though it moves faster than anything else, it does not rush. It glides. It offers a quiet truth that speed doesn't always mean chaos. Sometimes it means stillness within motion. And so you wonder, if speed can stretch time and light can pause it, what happens when gravity joins the dance? What does time feel like when pulled by something deeper, heavier, stronger than motion alone? As your breath slows, your thoughts begin to curve toward the next question, soft and quiet as moonlight. You lie in quiet comfort, the hush of night curling softly around you. Nothing stirs, and yet something unseen is always moving, always shaping. Not wind, not light, but time itself, folding and unfolding in ways you've never noticed. You don't need to move to feel this motion. You simply need to rest and let your thoughts drift. There was once a man who did just that, not with machines or maps, but with imagination. He sat in quiet rooms, walked familiar streets, and thought, not of what he could touch, but of what he could feel just at the edge of knowing. His name was Albert Einstein, and the story he would tell the world was soft and strange and true. He asked questions that few others dared to ask. What is time, really? Why do clocks tick at the pace they do? And how does gravity, a force so familiar, so ordinary, touch something as delicate as time? He imagined riding a beam of light, holding onto it like a ribbon whipping through space. He imagined elevators falling through the air, astronauts floating in silence. He imagined clocks ticking on mountains and in valleys, and wondered, would they always agree? And from these quiet thoughts, he painted a picture that would change how we see the world. He called it space-time, a woven fabric stretched gently over the shape of the cosmos. Space and time, not separate threads, but part of one vast tapestry. Not empty, not stiff, but soft, like silk, able to bend. And just like silk can ripple in the breeze, space-time can curve. It curves around mass, around stars, around planets, around you. Gravity isn't a pull, Einstein said. It's a fold in the fabric. Objects don't fall because they're tugged. They follow the curve of time itself. You, lying still in your bed, are resting in a tiny dip in that fabric. Earth cradles you in its gravity, and that gravity ever so gently bends the passage of time. Clocks in space, far from Earth's pull, run just a little faster. Clocks deep underground, closer to Earth's center, tick more slowly. Time stretches near great masses, as if the weight of something can press down on even the seconds. The heavier the object, the deeper the curve. Near black holes, those mysterious giants of gravity, time slows to a near stop. A single second there might stretch into years for someone far away. And yet, this isn't a fantasy. It's a law written into the quiet architecture of the universe. Time responds to where you are, just as it responds to how fast you move. It's almost as if the universe whispers. Where you are shapes who you are, your place in the world. How close you are to mass, to movement, changes the rhythm of your being. And you, with your steady breath and gentle pulse, are more deeply connected to the stars than you might ever have imagined. Einstein's puzzle was not one of chaos, but of quiet connection. It asked us to feel gravity not as a force, but as a soft hand reshaping time beneath our feet. His equations, so simple, yet so deep, became a lullaby of logic. They explained the bending of light around the sun, the way planets move, not in circles, but in gentle spirals of curved time, The way our GPS satellites must correct their clocks, because the gravity they escape makes time run faster. And so, you begin to sense the strangeness of stillness. Even in your quiet bedroom, you are drifting. The earth turns. The earth moves. The galaxy spins. You ride a spiral within a spiral, cradled by gravity's hand. And all the while, your clock ticks in tune with where you are. Einstein's gentle puzzle wraps around you like a soft blanket. It tells you that time is not strict, it's sensitive. It changes with speed. It changes with place. And those changes are small, but real enough to steer satellites, to measure moments, to shift lifetimes. Perhaps the most beautiful part of Einstein's idea is its calm. There is no urgency in it, no panic, only balance. Like a leaf resting on a stream, letting the water carry it. And you are that leaf, floating through curved space, held not by force, but by the natural bending of time around you. You might wonder now, if gravity can curve time, what happens to someone floating free of it, far from Earth, far from stars, drifting in the silence between worlds? Would their time run faster? Would their heartbeat move like wind on a still lake? As you breathe, you feel the beginnings of that question forming in your thoughts. Soft, slow, and full of wonder. What if you could rise above gravity's pull and drift among the stars where time flows like air? This is where the next part of your journey waits. A place where astronauts move gently through space, while time itself begins to loosen its grip. You are floating now, not in your bed, but in your mind, above the rooftops, above the trees, past the mountains and clouds, into the cold hush of space. No weight, no noise, no pull, only motion and silence and the soft echo of your breath. Below you, Earth turns slowly, a sphere of light and shadow. Blue oceans stretch wide. White clouds swirl like paint on glass. You drift in orbit, gentle and untethered. And around you, something curious begins to happen. Time slows down, not in a way you can feel. Your body still beats to its inner rhythm. Your breath still fills your chest with the same soft cadence. But compared to the clocks below, your seconds stretch just a little longer. This is not imagination. This is the quiet truth of physics. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station orbit Earth at over 17,000 miles per hour. They are high enough to escape some of gravity's pull. They are fast enough that their motion begins to tug gently at time. And so, their clocks fall slightly behind. It is called time dilation, once again. But here, both ingredients are present, speed and gravity. Up here, gravity is weaker, time runs faster. But motion is faster too, time runs slower. These two forces, speed and gravity, are like threads in a tug of war, pulling gently on the fabric of time. The result? A difference so tiny it takes atomic clocks to measure. But it's there. A soft delay, a slowing that accumulates, second by second, hour by hour. You begin to picture yourself floating beside those astronauts. You smile, speak, blink, just as you do on Earth. But somewhere, far below, someone waits for you. And their clock is ticking just a little faster. You left Earth the same age. You return younger by a fraction of a second. Not enough to see, not enough to change your life, but enough to whisper, time is not absolute. It is a river with currents, some fast, some slow. And you, like a boat on that river, follow its flow depending on where you are. It's easy to forget when you live inside gravity all your life. You wear it like a coat, heavy and invisible. It pulls your feet to the floor. It holds your bones in place. It bends your spine gently downward. But up here, in orbit, gravity is still present. Just weaker, just looser. And as gravity lightens, so does time. You feel it not in your body, but in the thought of what it means to fall forever. Because that's what orbit is. A fall that never ends. The spacecraft moves forward fast enough that it never hits the ground. It falls around Earth, not into it. A perpetual dance, forward motion balancing downward pull. A quiet circle, a graceful curve, and in that falling, time reveals its softness. You imagine time as fabric again, not stretched tight, but floating like silk in water. Each astronaut a small weight pressing gently into that silk. Each orbit a ripple across its surface. And you wonder, what if you drifted farther? Beyond the station, beyond the moon, out toward Mars, Jupiter, the endless hush of interstellar space? Would time stretch even more? It would. The farther you go from Earth's mass, the less its gravity tugs on your seconds. In deep space, free from major gravitational wells, your time would expand, slightly but steadily. Not all aging is about cells and calendars. Some of it is about where you are. Some of it is about the shape of the path you take. There's something calming about that. To know that time can soften. To know that the universe holds no single pace. Just many rhythms, overlapping like waves on a shore. You float in that thought now, weightless in every way. Above you, stars scattered like dust. Below you, Earth glowing quietly, unaware. And all around you, the slow drift of time. No ticking, no hurry, just breath and motion and the soft reminder that movement and gravity shape the world in silence. Back on Earth, your counterpart pours a cup of tea. The kettle whistles. The steam rises. The seconds pass without notice. But your seconds, they are longer. You stretch them, like a blanket pulled gently over your thoughts. You wonder if your dreams stretch, too. If sleep in space feels deeper, slower, wider. And if you could travel fast enough, far enough, could you delay time by more than just seconds? Could you pause it altogether? Could you leap into the future simply by floating away? It's not magic. It's the math of motion. It's the secret of stars. As you slowly drift deeper into sleep, you feel a question unfolding. If clocks can fall behind in space, what happens when two clocks try to stay in sync, but live in different places? On Earth, in sky, in orbit? Imagine two clocks. They begin together, ticking in perfect rhythm. Every second echoes the same soft click. Like twins waking from the same dream, they mark the minutes with matching breath. No difference, no drift. Time moves forward, steady and shared. Now imagine lifting one clock high into the sky, placing it on a jet, a satellite, or a rocket. It travels fast, curves around the planet, falls in orbit. The other clock stays on Earth, ticking calmly in a room, beside a window, beneath the clouds. And after hours, or days, or weeks, the traveling clock returns. They meet again, side by side. But now they disagree. Not by much. Just a tiny sliver of time. But enough to say one has moved faster than the other. One has stretched its seconds just a little longer. The clocks that once agreed now whisper two versions of the same story. Two truths, both correct, both shaped by their paths. This isn't an error. It's not a malfunction. It's the gentle fingerprint of relativity. Time, it turns out, is deeply personal. Depending on how fast you move, or how close you are to a strong gravitational field, your experience of time will shift quietly, but unavoidably. This truth has been tested, not once, but many times. In one experiment, scientists flew atomic clocks on commercial airliners around the world. They compared them to clocks that had remained on Earth. The results were delicate but real. The flying clocks had fallen ever so slightly behind. Just nanoseconds, but measurable, meaningful. In another, more recent test, two synchronized atomic clocks were placed on shelves. One just a foot higher than the other. The higher clock, experiencing slightly weaker gravity, ticked a tiny bit faster. Even a difference of inches was enough to bend time. You might smile at the thought that the top of your head is aging faster than your toes, that the clock on your bookshelf moves through time a shade quicker than the one on the floor. But these gentle disagreements are the signature of a world more flexible than we once thought. Time isn't a straight line. It's a field, a surface that curves, lifts, and dips based on where and how you live. And so, when you move, when you fly or fall or float, you gently pull away from the clocks left behind. You are not lost. You are simply following your own tempo. a solo instrument in a cosmic symphony, still in tune, but with a different beat. This truth is not just poetic, it's essential. Every GPS satellite orbiting Earth carries clocks that must account for time dilation. Their speed and height cause their seconds to stretch. If these shifts weren't corrected, your navigation would be off by miles within minutes. And so, above your head, hundreds of machines constantly adjust their sense of time, aligning sky to earth, syncing clocks that otherwise would wander. Time, it turns out, must be managed like a delicate balance. It is not universal in the way we once believed. It is local, personal. It listens to where you are and how fast you're going. And you carry your own clock. Not just the one on your wrist or in your phone, but the one inside you. Your heartbeat, your sleep rhythm, your aging cells. All of it follows your own journey through time. When you move quickly, your body quietly adjusts. Not in a way you feel. There's no sudden shift. But deep inside, your seconds stretch like soft fabric in motion. Even your memories are shaped by this. Emotions can dilate time, too. A moment of joy may feel eternal. A moment of fear may stretch into slow motion. And yet, these shifts are not illusions. They are part of how we live inside time's fabric. Not just measuring it, but moving with it. You begin to imagine your life as a story told in overlapping clocks. Some tick with your footsteps. Some tick with your dreams. Some tick far above, in satellites and stars, waiting for you to look up. And all of them, over time, begin to diverge. Not because one is right and another is wrong, but because time allows many paths. It is soft enough to bend, and generous enough to let each journey tell its own tale. You lie still now, thinking of all the clocks you've seen. The ones in train stations, glowing red. The ones on school walls, ticking loudly in the silence. The ones in your memories, marking beginnings and endings. But now you know. No two clocks truly agree. Not forever. Not exactly. And perhaps that is a kindness. That time does not demand sameness. That it allows difference without punishment. You drift now, your body quiet, your thoughts slow. But somewhere inside you, your clock still ticks, see? Not perfectly, not absolutely, but uniquely in rhythm with your path. And so, you wonder, if time can be different for you and me, can it ever truly stop? What happens when we move fast enough, or fall deep enough into gravity's well? That time, instead of stretching, simply halts? Is there a place where seconds no longer pass? A point where time itself pauses, and space stands still? Perhaps the answer rides on light itself, or waits in the shadow of something even darker. You close your eyes, not to sleep just yet, but to imagine. Above you, stars shimmer in silence. Beneath you, Earth turns, slow and steady in its orbit. And somewhere in between, light travels, tireless and fast. Light has always been your companion. It enters your eyes and carries color. It reveals faces, moves through windows, and paints shadows across your walls. But light is more than something you see. It is a rhythm, a messenger, a boundary. It always moves at the same speed, just under 300,000 kilometers per second, fast enough to circle Earth 7 times in a single heartbeat. No matter how fast you go, no matter how you chase it, light always wins. It moves not in competition, but with quiet authority. It never slows. It never waits. And this constancy bends the rules of time. Einstein saw it clearly. If the speed of light must remain unchanged for everyone, then something else must give way. That something is time itself. To preserve light's pace, the universe stretches your seconds. It folds space. It softens the clock. And as you move faster, time slows, gently, invisibly, around you. But now, imagine something even more strange. What if you weren't just near light? What if you were light? What would time feel like to a photon, a particle of light, traveling from a distant galaxy to your eye? It would feel like nothing at all. From the photon's point of view, if it could have one, there is no before or after, no journey, no ticking seconds, only one frozen instant stretched across space. It leaves a star, travels billions of years. And yet, for the photon, it all happens in a single breathless moment. That's the wonder of light. At the speed of light, time does not pass. It stops, not as if someone pressed pause, but as if the very idea of time has no meaning. Of course, you can't become light. Your body, with mass and breath and thought, is rooted in time. You are made of atoms that cannot move that fast. But you can drift close in imagination, sailing beside a beam, feeling how time begins to fade. Imagine riding that beam. You leave Earth behind. Cities blur into a smear of light. Mountains flatten. Oceans shrink. Stars stretch ahead, their light bending toward you. Behind you, clocks race forward. Decades pass, then centuries, then millennia. Civilizations rise and fall in the blink of an eye. But for you, it is all still. You do not age. You do not move through time. You simply are, locked in a moment without length. And yet, around you, the universe swirls. Galaxies spin. Planets collide. Time marches on for everything else. But not for you, not here. You begin to see how fragile time really is. Not in its reliability, but in its flexibility. It is not a cage, but a fabric. And the faster you move, the looser that fabric becomes. Back in your bed, still and slow, you feel the seconds flow again. Your body is tethered to earth, to gravity, to time. And that's okay. Because here, you get to experience the unfolding of life. The warmth of each sunrise. The comfort of each breath. The sweet passing of each moment. Still, there is something calming about the idea. That light moves through the universe untouched by time. It means that some of the starlight reaching your eyes tonight has journeyed for billions of years without aging. It was born before humans walked the earth, and only now finishes its path to you. You, in this one small moment, become part of a story so much older. You receive the light, and with it, the memory of the cosmos. It traveled all this way, not hurried, not tired, just constant. You smile, knowing that in some quiet way, your eyes are connected to the edges of the universe, not in distance, but in rhythm. You are slower than light. You are softer, but you are not separate. And so you wonder, if light can escape time, is there anything that can bend time more than speed? Is there something in the universe, so massive, so dense, that even light itself must pause? Perhaps the answer lies in darkness, in the heavy silence where time barely moves at all. Now, let your thoughts drift into the dark, not a frightening dark, but a still, vast, velvety one. A quiet deeper than any forest, darker than any night on earth. Here, in the far reaches of space, something waits. Silent, powerful, and invisible. A black hole. You can't see it, because light itself cannot leave its grasp. You only know it's there by what it does. It bends the space around it, twists light into spirals, and pulls time to a near stop. Black holes are born from collapse. When a massive star burns out, its core folds inward under its own weight. It shrinks and shrinks, tighter and tighter, until nothing, not even the space it once filled, remains the same. What's left is a singularity, a point of infinite density. All its mass, all its gravity, tucked into a space with no surface. And surrounding it is the event horizon, a boundary, like a one-way door. Once something crosses it, it cannot return. Not light, not sound, not time as we know it. You begin to imagine, what if you fell toward a black hole? Not all at once, not like a crash, but slowly, gently, a graceful descent towards something unknown. At first, nothing feels different. You float, you drift, you breathe. But as you get closer, you notice something strange. Your clock begins to slow, not because it's broken, not because you feel tired, but because time itself is stretching. Like taffy pulled between invisible fingers. Far away, your friends watch. To them, your descent slows, and slows, and slows. You never seem to reach the edge. You appear frozen, suspended, fading into stillness. But to you, inside your own unfolding moment, Everything feels normal. You cross the event horizon, and then you are gone. From the outside, your time has stopped. But inside, time still holds you gently. You move forward. Toward what? No one can say. Black holes are where our understanding of physics begins to hum quietly with mystery, where general relativity and quantum mechanics whisper two different truths. We know the gravity is immense. We know space folds in upon itself. We know time nearly stops. But what happens inside? What lies at the heart remains unknown. Some say it is the end of time. Others say it is a bridge, a tunnel to somewhere else, maybe even a new universe. And though we cannot yet see into one, we can feel their pull in the stars. We can see their shadows against the glow of galaxies. We can watch how they bend the light of things that come too close. One such image, taken by the Event Horizon Telescope, showed us a black hole for the first time. A glowing ring of light around a hollow center. Not a monster, but a mirror. Not a hole, but a boundary. A place where time has a limit, where seconds can stretch into forever. You breathe deeply now, wondering what it would feel like. Not to fall in, but to orbit close. Close enough to feel time slow like syrup. Close enough to watch a single moment bloom, wide and endless. You could live a lifetime there. While far from you, centuries pass. You be a traveler not of distance, but of time. You might someday return, only to find the world age beyond recognition. People gone. Cities changed. Stars shifted in the sky. And yet, inside you, only days might have passed. This is the quiet power of gravity's deepest curve. It does not roar. It does not chase. It simply bends the universe around itself, until time becomes thin and space becomes steep. You begin to see that time and space are not separate. They are woven together, shaped by mass, by movement, by mystery. And black holes are where the fabric folds so tightly. The stitching almost disappears. And even here, even in the dark, light still dances along the edges. Trapped in orbit, circling endlessly like a halo of forgotten time, you drift closer in your mind. And for a moment, you're weightless near the edge of the impossible. No fear, only wonder. Here, at the place where time pauses, you feel how precious each second is. How fragile, how soft. And as you begin to float away, you realize something gentle and profound. If time can stop, then time can also begin. And maybe, somewhere far beyond this gravity, there are places where time flows differently again. Not just slower, but stranger. What if there are worlds where time doesn't follow a rhythm at all? Where seconds flow backward? Or take loops like rivers that circle their own source? You float now in the space between known and imagined, a quiet realm where science meets wonder. Not in contradiction, but in conversation. The dark around you is not empty. It is full of soft questions. What if time could bend, not just slow or stretch, but curl in on itself? A ribbon folding gently back to where it began? Close your eyes and picture a loop, like a ring of smoke. No start, no end. Time, not as a line, but a circle. Some physicists call them closed time-like curves. Paths through space-time that return to their own origin. A person, a particle, even a thought. Traveling along that path might revisit the very moment it left. It's strange to consider. A day that folds back into its morning. A heartbeat that becomes its own echo. A step forward that lands you where you started. Would you notice? Would déjà vu feel heavier, more real? In your imagination, you step into one of these loops. You blink, and the stars above your head shift slightly. Then shift again, exactly the same. You take a breath and feel it return. Not just in your lungs, but in time itself. A soft repetition, like the chorus of a lullaby. Could the universe be built like this? A grand song with repeating verses, each one slightly changed, or perfectly the same. Some theories whisper yes. They point to quantum mechanics, a realm of particles and probabilities, where time isn't fixed, but fuzzy, where cause and effect can blur, where the future might touch the past, not to rewrite it, But to complete it, you feel your thoughts spiral gently. There is no rush here, only unfolding. Even some cosmologists, those who study the universe itself, have wondered if the Big Bang was not a beginning, but a bounce, a turning point in a much larger cycle. What if time expands, then contracts, only to expand again? A heartbeat of the cosmos. Inhale, exhale, repeat. And in each cycle, perhaps the laws of physics remain the same. Or perhaps they shift, like tides reshaping sand. You imagine climbing a spiral staircase. Each loop brings you back to a familiar place, but slightly higher, slightly changed. History repeats, but never exactly. Moments mirror, but they don't duplicate. This, too, could be a shape of time. Even in biology, you see echoes of this spiral. The shape of DNA, the double helix, is a ladder that twists upward, repeating its code with every turn. Your own body remembers its patterns. Heartbeats, sleep cycles, seasons of growth. Time lives in you not as a number, but as a rhythm. Could time itself be built on such rhythm? Not linear, not random, but patterned, cyclical, kind. Even memories follow loops. You revisit the same thought, the same feeling, not to stay stuck, but to understand it more deeply each time. Time may not be a cage you walk through. It might be a spiral staircase you climb with your eyes closed, recognizing each turn by touch. Even when the steps feel new, you breathe slowly now, letting these ideas swirl like mist in your chest. They are not answers, but possibilities. And still, deeper questions drift in. If time can loop, can it tangle? What happens if two timelines cross paths, interweaving like threads in a tapestry? In quantum theory, this isn't just poetry. It's part of the math. Particles can exist in superposition, many states at once, and some interpretations suggest that reality may split. Like a tree growing new branches every time a choice is made. Each path, a different timeline. Each timeline, a different self. You wonder what that feels like. To be one version of yourself among many. To step right instead of left. And become a new future. Time, then, is not just about speed or slowness. It is about shape. And some shapes are loops. Others are ladders. Some are trees with infinite limbs. The question is not only what time is, but how many times can there be? You rest into this thought, not overwhelmed, but held, as if time, in all its complexity, is simply offering you more ways to be gentle with yourself, to revisit old moments with new eyes, to move forward, knowing every step circles something familiar. And in this spiral of wonder, you ask one more question. If time can fold, loop, split, and slow, is there a way to move through it freely? Can time itself be traveled, not just in thought, but in motion? And if so, where would you go first? The night is quiet, the air is still, and yet your thoughts travel, not through distance, but through time. You remember a moment, one that lives soft and shining in your memory. Maybe it was a glance, a scent, a warm hand in yours. You don't relive it, you visit it. Already, your mind is moving. Time travel, you realize, begins not in machines or equations, but in imagination. And yet, could it be more than that? Could it be real? You think back to Einstein again. He showed us how time stretches when we move fast. And if we could move fast enough, close to the speed of light, we could leap forward in time. 1 year aboard a fast-moving ship might be 10 or 50 or 100 on Earth. This part is real, proven, not science fiction, but physics. Astronauts who orbit Earth for long periods return just a fraction of a second younger than the people who stayed behind. A soft time travel. Forward, not backward. A ripple, not a leap. But what about the past? That's the dream, isn't it? To go back. To touch a vanished moment. To whisper something to your younger self. To sit beside someone you miss. And yet, nature seems quiet here. No clear path. No welcome door. Still some ideas knock. In theory, a wormhole, a tunnel through space and time, could allow such a journey. If one mouth of the tunnel stays near Earth and the other speeds off, time would pass differently at each end. Return through the tunnel, and you arrive not where you began, but when. A bridge through time. Folded space. A shortcut across the years. It sounds like a fantasy, but the math says maybe. Not easy, not likely, but not impossible. Yet even if we could build such a tunnel, keep it stable, hold it open, there's another problem. The paradox. If you travel back in time and change something, do you erase the reason you came? It's called the grandfather paradox. If you stop your own origin, do you vanish? Physics doesn't like contradictions. And so, some suggest that time is self-healing. That even if you tried to change the past, you'd only fulfill it. You'd become part of the loop that led to the very future you remember. Others say every choice opens a new path, a new branch of time. You don't change the past, you create a new one. In this view, time travel doesn't break reality. It multiplies it. Still, no one has seen a time machine. No tourist from tomorrow has knocked on your door. Maybe the past is closed. Maybe the future is just waiting for your footsteps. Or maybe time, like a garden, only opens its gate in one direction. And yet, even without machines, you travel every day. You step into the future with each breath. You revisit the past with each memory. And sometimes, in dreams, you slip sideways into moments that feel real but are not tied to any clock. These two are forms of travel. Gentler, softer, but no less meaningful. You remember how your heartbeat changed when you stood in a place from your childhood. How scent could unlock a forgotten day. How music could return you to a feeling you thought had long faded. Your brain, your body, is wired to move through time's layers. You do it every time you remember with love or imagine with hope. And so, maybe the question is not, can you travel through time? But, how do you already? Some physicists believe time is not fundamental, that it may be an illusion, a way we organize change. Maybe the future already exists. Maybe the past is still there. Maybe time doesn't flow at all. We do. You imagine walking through a library, each book a moment. You can pick one up, read it, feel it, live inside it. But the shelves don't move. You do. And suddenly, you feel calm. You don't need to change the past. You carry it. You don't need to rush the future. It's unfolding. And while the dream of time travel shines brightly, the deeper truth is gentler. You are time. Every cell in your body keeps its rhythm. Every breath, a marker of now. And your presence, here in this quiet room, is already part of forever. The stars above you may be light years away, but their light, traveling across time, reaches you tonight, not by chance, but by rhythm. And in this rhythm, you rest. One day, we may build the tools to bend time more boldly, to cross it like a sea. But even now in stillness, you are already its traveler. You lie still, your thoughts quiet, and you wonder, if time is a place, then what's at its edge? Could there be something even beyond time itself? Something timeless, and yet part of everything? Now, you drift toward stillness. Not the quiet of sleep, though it's near, but the stillness at the farthest edge of what time can touch. A hush beyond even the ticking of stars. A place without before or after. Is there such a thing? You've traveled with time, watched it bend beside light, pause at black holes, spiral through memories, and climb the ladders of possibility. But now you wonder, what happens when time ends? Not for you, but for everything. The universe began in fire, a brilliant expansion, hot, fast, full of becoming. Time was born with space, like two dancers stepping onto a stage together, hand in hand. But expansion continues. Galaxies drift apart. Stars burn through their fuel. Entropy, the slow unfolding of disorder, grows. And with it, a strange future begins to unfold. The heat death of the universe. Not a fire, but a fading. A long, slow drift toward evenness, where everything is so spread out, so low in energy, that nothing changes anymore. No stars to burn, no matter to collide, no warmth to stir, only space, quiet, cold, and still. In such a place, does time still matter? If nothing happens, if nothing moves, how do you measure a second? Time is born of change. But what if change is gone? You try to picture it. A cosmos not dead, but asleep, not silent, but beyond sound. No beginning, no end, just stillness, and maybe peace. This isn't a tragedy. It's not sorrow. It's simply the final breath of a long, unfolding story. A universe that lived, and danced, and grew. You are part of that story. A moment of thought, a flicker of warmth, a breath carried on the same cosmic winds that once spun galaxies. Even in your stillness now, you are changing. Every second, every cell. But here, in this chapter, you imagine the absence of change, the quiet beyond all clocks. And you wonder, if time can end, was there ever something before it? Some scientists suggest time may have emerged from something even more fundamental. That before the Big Bang, there was no before at all. Only a timeless quantum sea. Still, infinite, without seconds or space. And from that stillness came becoming, like breath entering a body, like light cracking open darkness. You imagine that moment, not as noise or chaos, but as a soft exhale, a ripple across nothing. That became everything. You see now that time is not the backdrop. It is the thread. And yet, even threads can fray, can dissolve, can reweave into something new. Perhaps beyond time is not nothingness, but another kind of rhythm. Not seconds, but presence. Not movement, but awareness. You feel it now, as your breath slows, as your muscles soften, as your thoughts melt gently inward. The idea of timelessness is not absence. It is fullness. It is rest. It is return. You've walked with time through every shape it offered, from the ticking of your own heart to the pause at the edge of a black hole. You've traveled with it like a friend, curious and open. But now, you rest beside it. You thank time for its music, for its seasons, for its gentle hand, and you let it go, just for now. No seconds, no hours, just being, just here. And as your body softens into sleep, you feel something tender open in you, a thought without weight, a presence without time. And you ask, not to answer, but to wonder, if time can end, where does love go? Where do dreams go? Where does the part of you that watches stars remain? Maybe, just maybe, some truths live outside time altogether. And maybe, you are one of them. And now, gently, you return, not to a place, but to your own center. Your journey through the outer cosmos folds inward like a petal at dusk. The stars you traveled past still shine above you, but your gaze softens to the time within. You lie still, but deep inside you, things are always moving. Your heart beats, a steady drum, not because you will it, but because life wills itself. Each thump is a mark of time, each pause between, a space to breathe. Your breath rises, falls, a tide pulled by no moon, only you. This, too, is time, not counted, but felt. Your body knows when to sleep, when to wake. It knows the light of day and the hush of night. Inside you is a clock, ancient and soft, one that listens to sunlight, one that whispers in hormones and heat. This circadian rhythm, woven into your cells, sways even without thought. It tells flowers when to bloom. It tells birds when to migrate. It tells you, gently, when to rest. And so you are not separate from time. You are a rhythm within it, a note in the cosmic melody. Even your memories are timekeepers. They organize your past, arrange your story, paint meaning across moments. A scent, a sound, a glance. These are the keys that unlock whole stretches of time held in your mind. You don't store time like a tape. You hold it like a garden, where emotions bloom from past soil. Your dreams stretch time, too. What feels like hours may pass in minutes. You bend time while you sleep, as if to remind yourself that time has never been rigid. And in your thoughts, time travels in both directions. You remember what was. You imagine what could be. You make plans. You tell stories. You learn. These are all acts of time. Even healing is time's quiet labor. Cells repair, wounds close, bones knit, emotions soften, not instantly, but rhythmically, faithfully. You carry time in your skin. Your aging is not decay, but transformation, a map of years lived, a poetry of change. Your bones remember motion. Your eyes remember light. Your laughter remembers joy, and none of it is lost. You are not slipping through time like water through fingers. You are shaped by it, and in return, you shape it back. Every kindness you offer sends ripples into someone else's timeline. Every word you speak lives on in echoes you may never hear. You are not small in time. You are vast. And perhaps the most beautiful truth is this: you don't need to chase time. You don't need to hold it tighter. It is already holding you. Right now, here, in this breath. Time is not a task. It is a companion. And tonight, it walks beside you slowly. You lie in the warmth of your own being. You feel your pulse. Not rushed. Not late. Just alive. You are not behind. You are not too early. You are exactly on time. This is your moment. And you are here for it. And as sleep gently begins to find you, you understand something deep. That no matter how far you travel, across galaxies or thoughts, black holes or dreams, you always return to this one constant: yourself, your inner rhythm, your quiet center, your soft, unfolding story. And so now you wonder, if time lives in your body, then what lives beyond even that? What remains after time? And after form? There's no ticking now, no movement to mark what comes next. The chapters of time have unfolded softly. And now, the final page does not close. It simply opens into stillness. You are not drifting forward anymore. You are not looking back. You are resting in a space where time is neither gone nor needed. The quiet beyond time is not cold, not empty. It is the warmth that remains after the fire has gone out. The glow that lingers behind closed eyes. You feel it in your breath. Slow, steady, uncounted. You feel it in your chest. Not racing, not waiting. Just here. There is a softness to this place. A hush that hums like a lullaby. Without beginning. Without end. You've explored the universe. You've watched time slow beside black holes. Dance with light. Loop through dreams. And rise inside your own skin. But now, all of that has gently fallen away. And what's left is you. Not you as a name, or a story, or a string of memories, but the part of you that simply is. The presence that watches. The awareness that breathes. Without trying. Here, you do not need to remember the past. You do not need to imagine the future. Everything you are is enough. This moment, without direction, is still complete. And perhaps this is what lies beyond time. Not something to understand, but something to enter. A spaciousness, a still ocean, a deep, unshaped quiet that cradles all things. Even science, for all its brilliance, does not fully reach this place. Equations stop here. Light stops. Language, even, begins to dissolve. Because what is timeless cannot be measured. Only felt. And you are feeling it now. This is not the end of the journey. It is the soft breath after arrival. The release after wonder. The landing after flight. Some call it peace. Some call it presence. Some call it being. Whatever the word. You are here. Not floating. Not falling. Not waiting. Just here. And if you listen closely, you can feel that the universe is here with you. Not as stars or dust or time, but as stillness. As something ancient. Yet newborn in every second. You belong to it. And it belongs to you. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to become anything. Everything that mattered, everything that was ever real, has already arrived. In the quiet beyond time, you are resting in a truth that has no clock. And now, as the final traces of thought begin to soften, as your body lets go into sleep, you carry this one gentle knowing. You were never separate from time. You were never outside of it. And now, beyond it, you are still whole. You are still held. You are still home. So rest. You've traveled far. And now there is nothing left to measure. Only the beauty of what remains when all else is stilled. And perhaps, beyond even this quiet, there is something waiting. Not to move, but simply to meet you there. Always waiting. Always here. Always now. Here you are. Not in the past. Not in the future. But in the quiet center of now. Everything that was every idea, every wonder, every soft turning of time has led you here. To stillness. To presence. To yourself. You are not late. You are not early. There is no schedule. No race. Only rhythm. The hush in your chest. The warmth behind your eyes. The subtle hum of your being. Not doing. Not planning. Just being. This is what remains. When even time has gently stepped aside. Not emptiness. Not silence. But fullness. Rich and whole. Like the sky just before dawn. You remember now. What you've always known. But often forgotten. That this moment, the one you're in, right now, is the only one you can truly live in. And that is enough. No need to hold the whole universe. It already holds you. No need to chase light. You were made of it. No need to escape time. You were its song. You were there. In the first spark of starlight. You were there. In the spiral of galaxies. You were there. In the quiet heartbeat of a sleeping planet. And you are here now. A single breath. In a timeless sky. This is your home. This moment. This gentle now. Let it hold you. Let it soften you. Let it remind you that time was never a thing to conquer. It was never against you. It was always walking beside you. Offering each second, like a petal placed in your hand. And beyond even that. Beyond the clocks and stars. And all the folding fabric of space-time. There is something else. A presence that needs no ticking to exist. Call it love. Call it being. Call it stillness. It is not outside of you. It is you. The part that watches the stars. And hears music in silence. And knows, without needing to know. So rest now. Not because you must. But because you can. Because everything has already arrived. There is nothing to fix. Nothing to chase. Nothing to wait for. There is only this. You, alive, awake, held, and as sleep finally reaches you. Soft as dust, light as breath. You carry with you, not just science, not just story, but a truth so gentle it needs no words. You are already enough. You are already home, and you are already now.